Hello, and welcome to today's program, How to Get Your Business Certified as a Woman Owner with Women's Business Enterprise Center, commonly called WBEC. The webinar is being presented by Colleen Lacasse, Director of Certification and Business Development with WBEC East. She has had the pleasure of assisting over 1,700 certified business owners in our local tri-state region to maintain their certification and use it to grow their business networks. Colleen has spent her career managing strategy, events, and membership services for various nonprofits and loves working in a place where women are empowered to change the world. Thank you, Colleen, for sharing your experience on this important topic today, and I trust all of our viewers will find it informative and helpful. Next slide. My name is Maria Smith, and I'm a volunteer with SCORE of Chester and Delaware counties. SCORE is a nonprofit organization that has been in existence for over 50 years and is a resource partner of the Small Business Administration. SCORE's mission is to foster a strong small business community by providing free mentorship and business education. We are here to support you and help you grow your business. Here in Chester and Delaware counties, we have 100 volunteers ready to help. Our mentoring and most of our educational programs are free. You will find many tools, templates, and other business resources on our website resource library. Next slide, please. Today, our program is 1 hour, scheduled till 11 o'clock. The presentation is being recorded and will be made available to you after today's session, along with the slide deck and several helpful links and resources from Colleen. You all have been placed on mute, so we avoid distractions. Please ask your questions in the Q&A box, and we will take breaks to answer them. Welcome, Colleen, our presenter.
Thank you so much, Maria, and thanks everyone for having me today. It is always my pleasure to talk about how to get WBE certified and really explain who and why and how, because I know it can be a daunting process for a lot of people. A lot of people I've talked to say, you know, it's been on my bucket list for a while and I just really never gotten around to it. So I am going to break it all down for us today and really talk about eligibility, get certified, and how you start that process and my tips for getting through the process successfully. So we'll start off by talking about what is supplier diversity? Why do people get certified? What is this network? What is WBEC? What is this all about? We'll get into the nitty-gritty of the certification, the really in-depth eligibility so you can know if it's right for you. And then we'll get into the full process, how to get started, the documents that you need, how to get into the system, all things like that. So before we even jump in further, I would really like if we could, Maria, throw that poll question up. I'd like to just learn a little bit more about you guys on the call today and just see a little bit about your business so I can tailor my content a little bit better to you guys. So if you could just tell me how old your business is, if you're a brand new business owner, if you've been in it for a while. If you're not a business owner, just click does not apply to me. That way I know that, you know, you're coming from somewhere else in the community. Tell me how many employees you have, your ownership breakdown, and your legal structure, please.
Thank you. We're getting some responses. We'll take just a couple of minutes here to give people time to answer the questions. There's 4 questions. Okay, maybe just a couple more here that are wrapping it up. Okay, I'm going to end the poll and I'll share the results here so you can see them, Colleen.
Okay, all right, so it looks like most people here are brand new business owners. That's fantastic. We have lots of one-woman show and one other person. Okay, so we got a lot of small business owners on the call. Great. A whole bunch of 100% owner, 150, 149, great. Mostly LLCs, got a corporation. Okay, perfect. So I know to tailor this specifically towards you small business owners here. Awesome. All right. So let's talk about supplier diversity. What is it? Because a lot of small business owners really haven't either heard about it or know a lot about it. So supplier diversity is a business strategy for corporations and government agencies where they take a look at their supply chain. They take a look at the small business owners that they work with and make sure that they come from diverse backgrounds. So these can be women-owned, minority-owned, disability-owned, veteran-owned, or LGBT-owned. Generally, if you fall within one or more of those 5 categories, you are considered a diverse business owner. Now, as supplier diversity grows as a business practice, it's really important for these corporations and government agencies to see that the small businesses they work with are certified, to verify that they truly are diverse owned and diverse run businesses, because we're not in the business, and I'll talk a lot about this through the presentation. We're not in the business of certifying pass-throughs, certifying businesses where, you know, it's a male-run business for 20 years and he wants to get more, you know, business opportunities. So he puts his wife in the president 51% role, but she's not really involved in the business. That is what we're trying to avoid. Now, I also want to throw out here that supplier diversity is not about a handout. It's not about guaranteeing diverse businesses over a male-owned business, or, you know, guaranteeing a contract to a Black-owned business over a white-owned business. It is about leveling the playing field, because these corporations and government agencies realize that it's really hard for small businesses just to get a foot in the door, and women and minority-owned businesses are still playing catch-up. I mean, women could not get a business loan until 1988 legally. You know, if you look at the data with funding, I mean, only 2% of women seeking seed funding got funded last year versus 89% of men. I mean, there is still a huge disparity. So it is about just getting that foot in the door, helping to level the playing field, but you still have to compete for that contract once you get that in. So there are a few things that I want you to know about supplier diversity before applying for any certificate or any, you know, supplier diversity program. One, every single procurement department is different. Every organization, every state, government agency, corporation, even sometimes procurement departments within a larger organization are different. It's very important for you to do your research. Now, we as WeBank are the national certifier for the women-owned certificate, but that doesn't mean that there is a law that says every corporation must accept it. There's not. We are the most widely owned as the national certifier, but I'll give you an example. PennDOT, SEPTA, and the other transportation agencies have their own internal certification program for diverse businesses. If you want to do business with PennDOT, you need to get that DBE certification. But you can't take that DBE certification and then go to, you know, a bank or a university or any other organization outside of PennDOT, because they're going to say, just give us the national certifier. What is this? We don't accept PennDOT certification. So that's why it's very important for you as a business owner to do your research and find out what certificates you actually need before going out and getting a bunch of certificates. Now, the easiest way to do that is to just ask. Pull together a list of your target clients that you're interested in. Either just go online and Google, you know, Temple University Supplier Diversity Program or Bank of America Supplier Diversity Program. A lot of times they will say flat out on there what certificates they're looking for to get access to the Supplier Diversity Program. Other times you can just ask the procurement manager or supplier diversity manager there. Now, I will talk a little bit about how we as WeBank have over 400 of some of the largest corporations, universities, hospital systems, et cetera, in the country as members of WeBank. They're probably a great place to start. So it's just very important for you to do your research before pursuing any certificate. I talked a little bit about number 3, being a diverse supplier does not guarantee you business. It does not guarantee you contracts over a non-diverse diverse business over a male-owned business, over a white-owned business. It is about just getting you access to contracts. These corporations realize that it behooves them to diversify their supply chain, especially over the last couple of years. As supply chain issues have been really wonky, they realize it is in their best business interest to diversify their supply chain. They have better product pricing, service, more competition, but you then have to have that better product pricing, service, and compete, right? So it is just about getting you that foot in the door. I talked about number 4 already. Being a WBE is one of a bunch of ways to be certified as a diverse business. Do you need more than one diversity certificate? If you are a Black woman, should you get your MBE and WBE? You can. It really depends on your goals. If you have one major client that says, I would love to count you towards my supplier diversity goals, please get a diversity certificate. Doesn't matter which one. Maybe you only need one. But if you are really, if you have goals to get as much networking in and open yourself up to as many corporate clients as possible, maybe you get more than one, because they are, while they are very similar and we have goals, all of our goals are the same, to get diverse business owners, the foot in the door. It's just another network to be a part of, right? It's more networking opportunities. It's more corporations. You never know who's looking to increase their spend on women-owned versus minority-owned versus LGBT-owned businesses, etc. Supplier diversity is not goodwill. It's good business sense. As I said, these corporations are really looking to diversify their supply chains. They're looking to increase competition among their suppliers. They are looking for innovation, and diversity, brings innovation. We know that. These corporations know that as well. And lastly, you can have supplier diversity goals too. There is no business that is too small to say, tax season is right around the corner. I need to hire a new accountant, or I need to redo my website. I really need to hire a new graphic designer, web developer. Please consider hiring another women-owned business, because there are over 18,000 certified WBEs in this country. So I tell people, do not get so hung up on the corporates that you forget about each other as well, because you can do business with each other. So I hope this gives you a good idea of what the world of supplier diversity is and how it can help you, elevate your business and get a foot in the door, but also how important it is for you to do your research and make sure you're getting the right certificates and pursuing the right clients. So is certification right for you? Let's pause, take a quick self-assessment. 1, if you are product-based, are you looking to go wholesale? Are you looking to get on grocery stores or sell to hospital systems, hotel chains, any corporation where you're going to do B2B? If you are service-based, are you looking to do commercial services? Are you going to, provide whatever service you have to another corporation or government agency? Are you looking to bid and work with procurement departments? If you are a brand new business, and I know a lot of you guys are you ready? When these corporations, they consider brand new businesses for contracts, it's a risk, right? They want to do businesses to do business with businesses that they know will be successful for them, right? So if you, as professional, have a proven track record of success, and you have launched your business, and really all you need is your brain and your laptop and you are ready to go, sure, maybe certification is right for you, because there is no limit in how long you've been in business. I have businesses, I have consultants that just got certified. They launched their business 6 months ago, but they've been doing this. They know the industry in and out. They are ready to go. But if you, let's say, are in manufacturing or engineering, or you need some kind of heavy equipment, you need to develop a staff, certification might not be right for you yet, until you are ready to start completing projects successfully. So the last thing I want to do is introduce you to a potential corporate client, and then you have to say to them, oh, we're not really ready to bid on a contractor. We can't deliver success for at least another year or 2, right? Are you willing to share all the details of your business with us? tax returns, your legal documents, compensation, payroll. We're going to ask for a ton of stuff. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. But if you, say to us, I don't really want to send that to you, we can't continue with the certification process. And lastly, are you clear? And I'm going to reiterate this again and again. A certification does not guarantee you business, right? It is a tool in your tool belt. So there are a lot of benefits to getting certified. First and foremost, you get that WBE certificate. So if a client says to you, hey, are you a certified WBE? Can I count you towards, my diversity goals? Also really good to send to your current clients, because we know that it's a lot harder to get a new client than it is to keep a current client happy. And if a current client, even if they don't have really hard, fast supplier diversity goals, I know a lot of WBEs that say, I have a lot of clients that they really like the fact that I'm a certified WBE. They don't require it, but they like it. And I think it's helped me keep this business. So just keep that into consideration. I know among our network, we have hundreds of supplier diversity and procurement executives that are members of our network. We do a lot of networking events with them, a lot of matchmaking stuff. I actually do a whole other program called Maximizing Your Certification. If you go to the WeBec East website, we do it every single month. And we talk all about the network and what events are right for your business. We have a full directory where, as a certified WBE, you'd be included in. You get access to the logos, to the seal, to all of the networking throughout the whole national network. It's just a really fantastic network to be a part of, especially if you are a woman in an industry that is highly male dominated and you're tired of being the only woman at the table. That will never be a question at our events, because it is all women-owned businesses. So my question for you, once you get the certificate, and I just want you to, kind of keep this nugget in the back of your mind. What is your strategy? Why are you getting the certificate? Because having a diversity certificate is a piece of paper, right? It's not a strategic plan. It's not a marketing person. It's not going to go out and sell your business. Like, yes, you are going to be in the directory. Yes, you will have the ability to go into, these networking events and market yourself as a women-owned business, but it needs to be a part of your plan, and you need to, have a solid marketing and strategic plan without a diversity certificate. Because if you don't have solid marketing techniques, just as a business owner, the diversity certificate is not going to do a whole bunch extra for you, right? You need to build it into your marketing and strategic plan. So you really need to do your research on your clients that you're targeting. You need to, if you are in an industry where there is a lot of, prime contractors and subcontractors, you really need to, understand what does that industry look like? What does the bidding environment look like? This is a lot of education that you as a business owner can get from, SCORE, from your local procurement technical centers, from your local small business centers. And then you really got to use it to network. You got to build those business relationships. You get out of it what you put into it. It's, I like to say it's like when you get a college degree, just because you graduate, business job offers aren't just going to all of a sudden fall into your inbox without you really doing anything. It takes time to apply and network and be the best fit for the job. But now this is a really great tool in your tool belt that you have. It's pretty much exactly the same. So I know a lot of you guys are really small businesses. So something to consider, I'm going to talk a little bit about who our corporate clients are, but, really think about where you fall on the food chain, I should say, the supply chain for, corporations, if you are looking to go B2B. Let's say that you are in social media marketing. You as a one-woman show are probably not big enough to take on most of Walt Disney World's social media marketing, but maybe you can as, working with a local university. We have a lot of local universities that are members. Maybe that's more up your alley. Now, there's also what we call subcontractors. So let's say, going back to Walt Disney World, let's say that they put out a call for someone to handle all of the landscaping and property management of all of their parks in Florida. That is way too much for even the largest contracting and landscaping business. So that business that gets that contract, called the prime, is going to then hire a whole bunch of other smaller businesses to help out. But Walt Disney World says to them, hey, ABC company that we've hired as the prime, you still need to make sure that you meet our diversity goals as you're hiring out subcontractors. So maybe that's where you come in. Maybe you do snow removal, and that is your niche, and you get hired for one park to do snow removal. That is where you fit in and do business with Walt Disney World in that second tier, right? There are a lot of ways for you as a small business owner to do B2B business. And our corporate members come from all walks of life, all over the supply chain. Some of our corporate members are these, smaller corporations or agencies like a university. Walt Disney World and some of the behemoths in this in this country are members. And then there's also some of those prime contractors, those in-between folks, who are members as well. So there are a lot of ways that you as a small business owner can get your in. Now let's talk about our network as a whole. So it is a national certificate. We are a national network, and we are divided into 14 different regions. So you are automatically assigned to one of the 14 regions based on where your headquarters is, or if you work out of your home, based on where you live. If you ever move, it's very easy for us to transfer you to another region. You can use your certificate anywhere that accepts it. If they say, hey, we accept WeBank, it is a national certificate, right? And you can also attend any of the networking events in any of the regions. And I know, since COVID, a lot of stuff has been virtual. If you are interested in doing business out in Seattle, or if you have a remote staff member out in Seattle, have them get involved in WeBank Pacific. We get people all the time being in the Philadelphia area who come from New York and DC and, out in our Pittsburgh office from Ohio. It's a really great opportunity to kind of have that local support, but also a national network that you can grow into. Now, being WeBank East, we cover all of Pennsylvania, all of Delaware, and the southern half of New Jersey. So if you are in that area, you are automatically assigned to me and my team. If you are outside of that area, all of this information is still pertinent to you because it is a national certificate. The eligibility process, everything is the same. You'll just be working with whatever regional office is local to you. Now, we have over 1,700 certified WBEs in our region, in our tri-state region, which makes us actually the third largest in the country, bigger than New York and DC and Boston. I should go back, of those 400 plus corporations that are members nationwide, about 60 of them are active locally in our area. So it's a really robust network to be a part of, and it gives you a lot of options if you are looking to expand your client base, but you're just not really sure who or where or how. We are a very active network here. All right, so let's start getting into the nitty-gritty of the certification itself. I just scrolled through. I don't see any open Q&A, so hopefully that means I'm doing a good job. All right, so let's get into the certification. What is a WBE? What is that acronym? Women's Business Enterprise. That is pretty standard, just like MBE is Minority Business Enterprise, or VBE is Veteran Business Enterprise, etc. So, biggest myth: it is not just about being women-owned or minority-owned or veteran-owned, etc. It is about being women-owned, women-run, women-controlled, right? Women have to have total control and be the one running the business. So let's get into this a little bit further. Okay, you do have to be a for-profit incorporated business. So we don't certify nonprofits. And by incorporated, I mean you have to be launched. So whatever paperwork, if Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, whatever paperwork your state requires to be launched, to be in business, you have to have that. So in Pennsylvania, you have to have your incorporation paperwork. 1% or more ownership. We do not round up from 50.5, and this is all ownership. So for you LLCs out there, which most of you are, whatever is outlined in your operating agreement, or if you are 100% owner, sole proprietor, it's just you. But if you do have stocks, some corporations have voting and non-voting stocks. We look at all of the stocks combined. So a business where a woman has, 1,000 stocks, only 100 of them are voting. She holds all 100, but a man holds all 900 non-voting. He owns 90% of that business. Even though he has no voting, he owns 90%, not eligible. So we're looking at all ownership combined. The women owners have to be U.S. citizens or legal permanent residents of any state or territory. The woman owner has to have the highest office, or another woman has to have the highest office, but there has to be a woman in the highest office. Now, I say another woman because let's say there's a situation where a woman has run her business for 20 years. She's now retired and her daughter is the president. Her daughter doesn't have any ownership yet, but she is the president running the business. That is still certifiable. As long as there's a woman in the majority ownership and a woman who is running the business, they can be two different women. That's fine. And it doesn't matter what your highest office is, president, CEO, managing member, blah, blah, blah. I don't care what the title is, as long as a woman is in it. The owner has to have evidence of legal and managerial control. She is the one totally in control and running the business. And I'll talk a little bit about legal control, what that means with your governing documents in a second. But essentially, the woman cannot be in the highest title just in name only. She has to actively be running the day-to-day, not just checking in once a week to vote on major, questions, running the day-to-day. And she has to have the expertise. She has to be essential to the business. She can't just be a figurehead. She can't just be a woman who's been, working in the business, doing back office paperwork for 10 years. And now, the husband puts her as president, but he's still the foreman running, all the field work and doing all the contracts. She has to be essential to the business, right? It has to be her business. And lastly, the business has to have independence and the ability to function without a male-owned company. This is the one that we get the most questions on, and I will talk a little bit about what does independent mean. Now, outside of this, there are no size limits. So you can be, one woman show with no revenue. You just launched 6 months ago. You can have 500 employees and have 10 million in revenue. There are no minimums or maximums. And I have certified every industry under the sun. I swear I have certified some of the most interesting businesses. All right, so let's talk about these husband-wife teams. For anyone who has a 5149 breakdown, or who has, even if it's not husband-wife, or just someone who has a male business partner, whether it's your father or your best friend or your brother. Questions for you to ask. Is this your business? Because we are going to scrutinize these 5149s very highly. Because why was it set up this way, right? Was it set up because you truly are the one running the business and you have control and you wanted to maintain control? Or was it set up 51 because you want the certificate and really, you work together, or it's his business? So is it your business? Do you have the final say on all decisions? Does he defer to you on all these decisions? Are you the expert in this industry? Is this your industry, or is this his industry and you're kind of learning as you go? Not saying you can't learn as you go, but, again, you have to be essential to the business. Are you overseeing the day-to-day operations, or are you just passively involved? Family dynamics aside, can you fire your male partner? It's a tough question to ask, but, as much as I hate to say it, I have seen situations where a woman has lost her business in a messy divorce because she legally did not have the ability to fire him or, to retain control of her business. You legally have to have control of your business. This is a big one. Are you reliant on your male partner for a license or equipment or clients, some essential part of the business? So if it is a law firm and you are you have an MBA and he has the legal degree, yeah, you may be doing a lot of the client management and the sales and the business management and the financials, but he's the lawyer. If he all of a sudden decided to say, you know what, I'm out, you are not a lawyer. You can't run a law firm without him. It is a situation where, it's just you, your male partner, and a truck, and he has the CDL. If he all of a sudden said, no, I'm out, well, you don't have the commercial driver's license. You can't fulfill projects without him. So it's those sort of things that we're talking about when we say independence and the ability to control your business without a man or without resources owned by a man. Ultimately, will you be successful if he left the company? There are a lot of situations, especially as we get into succession planning, especially as we get into these businesses, that are multi-generational. Ultimately, we are looking to make sure that the woman is able to run her business without, being cut off from equipment that's owned by a man or without relying on a male-owned company to get all of her clients. She is able to run her business in her own right. That's my spiel about that. Okay. Remember I talked about the fact that you legally have to be in control of your business. What does that mean? Now, I want everyone to pay attention because this is the number one reason why eligible businesses get denied. You can meet every other criteria. You have the expertise. You've run your business for 20 years. But if there is a single clause in your governing documents that does not meet criteria, you will be denied. So here are the two things I see most often that I want you to look at. First, let's talk about what we want you to look at. Your governing documents. What is that? If you're a corporation, your bylaws. If you're an LLC, your operating agreement. Now, if you're a sole proprietor or a single member LLC without a staff, you may not have any of these, and that's okay. But if you are an LLC and you have a management team or you have other staff that work in your business, you really should have an operating agreement to protect yourself and to define how your business is run. If you're 50-50, you may have a partnership agreement. If, let's say, you're a franchise or you have, you send a product out for manufacturing, you may have a manufacturing agreement. We're looking at any of these high-level documents that govern how your company is run. Now, these are legally binding, whether they reflect what's happening in real life or not. They are legally binding, right? So if you have signed this and it goes before a judge and you have never actually read it, please go in and read it, because that is legally what your company is bound by. And so many small business owners are just going onto LegalZoom, downloading a template for their operating agreement, signing it, and not reading it. Please read it. So here are the two things I see most often. One, unanimous consent clauses. What is that? Unanimous consent basically says if you have multiple owners or multiple managers, directors, any clause that says, let's say, in order to take out a new loan, there must be unanimous consent of all owners and directors. That means that if you have even a 1% silent partner in your business that otherwise does not work in the business, they can veto you as part of that unanimous consent. That's no good. That is an issue of control that we want to avoid. So please go in and change it to say from unanimous consent to majority 51%, because you as the women owner should have at least 51%. So that protects you. So just go in, do a control search, find those unanimous consent, or sometimes there's super majority clauses, which is more than 51%, but usually they're unanimous consent. Just get rid of them, because you will be denied over unanimous consent clauses, whether you know if they're there or not. Number two, who has the highest title in your company legally? Are you sure it's you? Is it your title? Have you ever read the officers section and found out what the highest title is? Because the most common thing I see in these documents is the president is the CEO of the company. And I have seen a good number of businesses where the woman is the CEO and the man is the president, and totally legitimate in real life. He reports to her. She just gave him the president title because he goes out and does a lot of marketing on her behalf. But she is really running the show. Well, legally, according to her documents, the president is the CEO. He is the head of the company, right? So please make sure you go in, find out what the highest title is, put your title in there, just very clearly write it out, sign the amendment, and just make it so obvious in your legal documents that you are the head of the company. Again, I don't care what your title is, just make sure it's you. All right. We also offer a second certificate. So moving along here. Remember in the back in the beginning of the presentation, I talked about a situation where PennDOT has their own internal certificate for contracting with the transportation agencies. Well, the federal government has their own certificate as well for working with any federal agency. And enough people want it that we offer it as an add-on. And that is the Women-Owned Small Business Certificate. And that is just for doing business with the federal government. So the very first question on your WB application will say, do you also want to add on the WOSB? And so many people just kind of knee-jerk check, yes, I want it all. Two questions for you. One, are you interested in working with the federal government doing federal contracting? If not, you don't need it. Check no. It'll save you some time. Two, are you working in one of the approved NAICS code industries, which is pretty much most of you because they are traditionally male-dominated industries. And unfortunately, most industries are still male-dominated. So the eligibility is basically the same. If you do not meet the criteria for the WBE, we will not certify you for the WOSB. It's all the same, 51%. Woman has to have the highest title. She has to have the expertise, etc. You have to be within that SBA size standard. Small Business Administration defines what a small business is. It's very generous. I think I've denied like 2 businesses ever with that size standard. The owner has to work full-time in the business. So that is 30 plus hours a week and no other full-time job. Basically, the federal government wants to know that you are going to be available during regular working hours to work with them, to contract with them. And you have to be registered in the Federal System for Award Management, SAM.gov, the thorn in everyone's side. A lot of people are saying, oh my gosh, I have been waiting on my SAM registration for 6 months. Please still apply. We have a great workaround. Basically, if you want the WOSB, but you are waiting on your SAM registration, do not pay $500 to a consultant. They will not get you that SAM registration any faster. SAM is just really backed up. So what I want you to do is check yes, that you want the WOSB, send everything else in, and just check NA on those SAM documents. And we will open up a Dropbox for you to send it in whenever you are ready, whenever it comes through. We don't need it to get started on your WBE, so we will get started on that. Whenever the SAM comes through, you can get it to us. So do not wait to apply just because you're waiting on SAM. So many people are waiting on SAM. What is a NAICS code? This is an FAQ that I get so much that I added in a slide here. A NAICS code is basically a 6-digit code that defines what you do as a business owner, what your services are. The government would like you to report this on your tax return every year. So please do. It's a good practice to have, especially for the WOSB. They actually ask you to put your true NAICS code. You can pick whatever code you want. So if you go to NAICS.com/search, there are thousands of codes. Most people pick one primary one based on kind of high level what they do, and then a bunch of secondary ones. So let's say you do web development. Your primary one you can pick as marketing services. And then on your application, you can add a whole bunch of others, let's say 5 to 10 others. IT services, graphic design, branding, all the nitty gritty stuff. So just know that you can pick whatever NAICS code fits your business. All right, so let's start getting into the application process here. If you tuned out a little bit from the WOSB, please tune back in. We're talking about the WBE and all of it. The first year takes about 3 to 4 months because we are going to do a deep dive into your business. We don't offer any expediting because this is truly how long it takes at our highest efficiency. Now, recertification is annual. Generally, unless you've had any big changes in your business, recertification will go through in about 2 weeks or so. So it's a lot less rigorous. You don't need to go through all these additional documents. But here's what to expect. So you put together your whole application, all your documents, everything, you send it to us. Give us about 2 weeks, a week or two to read through everything. You've sent us a lot of stuff. And we are going to come back to you with questions. We always have questions because we know, what you send to us is kind of a baseline. We want to know more about who's running your business and, all about how you got the expertise to run your business. We also will never deny anyone because they sent, the wrong document or they uploaded something twice by accident. This is our chance to make sure we have everything we need, a clear picture of your business. So please, take some time to read through the question, take a couple days, get all the answers together, any additional documents that we request, send it in as one response. Don't send it to us piecemeal. If you need to get on the phone with us and, talk through, hey, what do you mean by this? We are totally happy to. You will be assigned a certification officer. They're kind of like your shepherd through this process. So do not feel afraid to reach out to them and ask, for something to be clarified. Now, once we have everything kind of packaged in and, you've answered all the questions and we have no more questions, we are going to take everything and send it to our committee because we as staff are not the decision makers. Our anonymous committee, those are the decision makers. They are highly trained group of volunteers that are comprised of both business owners as well as procurement, supplier diversity, corporate members. They meet generally twice a month. So that's why we stay on here 30 days, just in case you don't get into this Friday's meeting, you might have to wait 2 weeks. But they are going to read through everything and make a recommendation to certify or deny. And the last phase is a site visit. Now, this could be in person or virtual, depending on the nature of your business. I will say probably 90% of our site visits are virtual. We will come out in person if you have a facility for us to tour, like if you are in manufacturing or distributing, you have a warehouse, or if we just feel like we really need to meet with you face to face, we will come out. But if you are working in your home office, as a sole proprietor consultant, we will probably have a Zoom meeting with you. But this is our chance to get to know you. Don't be intimidated. So many people are like, tell me afterwards, I was so scared for my site visit. We are going to, ask you questions to get to know you because we know you're not a piece of paper, right? We want to ask, tell us your story. Tell us how you started your business. Why did you get into this industry? What does a typical day look like for you as a business owner? Tell me about your clients. Tell me about your projects. What are your dreams for the future? Those are the kind of questions that we are going to ask. And once the site visit is completed, generally you'll hear back within about a week or so on the final decision. So that is why the full process takes about 3 to 4 months, because we go through a Q&A process. The committee meets every 2 weeks, and then we need to schedule that meeting with you, right? So it takes time. And we do these site visits generally every 3 years, unless maybe you're a brand new business or you've had some ownership changes. We may meet with you the first year just to check in for a quick meeting. But generally it's every 3 years, just to make sure that, you as the woman owner are still running the business, that things haven't changed, that everything you've said on paper is true in real life. There is a cost to apply. Please note that this pays for all of our staff time as a small nonprofit. So if you choose to withdraw halfway through the process or you get denied, it's not refundable because we've put many, many hours of work into reviewing your application. It goes on a sliding scale. So if you have made under $1 million in gross receipts, which most of our businesses are, it is $350. If you are in the 1 to 5 million, and this is your gross receipts, what you report on your taxes, it's $500, and it goes so on up from there. Now, I will say, if you are a brand new business, or if you make under $100,000 a year, if you've had a lot of financial challenges, we do have a limited time grant opportunity for, if you are based in our region, if you're in Pennsylvania, Delaware, or South Jersey, our region is sponsoring a limited time waiver program. So please email me. My email will be included in the follow-up that Maria will send, and I'll send you the application to apply for a fee waiver. Confidentiality and privacy is very important, and I want to talk about this before we get into the documents. We are entirely green. We don't accept anything by hard copy. Please don't email me. Email me questions. Do not email me your taxes. Don't fax me anything. We want everything to be uploaded, securely attached to your application in this encrypted portal. WeBank Link was designed specifically for certification and procurement programs, and many states, government agencies, and other certifiers use it. We have all signed confidentiality, non-disclosure agreements in advance. So, I don't need to sign one for you. I have already signed one. We don't share any of your confidential information, not with corporate members. The public information you put in your application, your business name, your business description, your website, things you want people to see will go into the directory. But nothing confidential will ever go into the directory or be seen by anyone besides your reviewing officers. And even that, those clicks are logged in there, so I can see exactly which officer has viewed your application at any time. An important note too, if you have someone else working with you on your application, an administrator, a CFO, a consultant, a SCORE mentor that you want us to be able to talk to, please add them as a application contact on there, so we know that we are authorized to talk to them. So,
hi, Colleen, it's Maria. I'm sorry to interrupt. We do have a couple of questions in the chat right now that might be helpful based on what you just covered.
I see them in. Yep. Okay. I see Cynthia lives in Texas. So Cynthia, as you get into this application right here on this page, as you start it, it's going to ask what state you live in, and it's going to direct you to the correct regional office there. So it is automatically. So don't pick WeBank East. It will direct you to the right one there, but it is all the same application, same login here, same eligibility, same documents, all of it's the same. Let's see, what if you are only a couple of months new, you have not filed a federal income yet? Great question. I'm going to get into what documents to submit if you are brand new. So hold that thought for 1 second. All right, so this is what the application looks like. You're going to click on the bottom to apply, to get into the system. You can save and log out and log back in at any time. Yeah. Now, I know this is really tiny, but I just kind of want to give you an idea of what it looks like and where to click. So you can click Manage Apply for certification at any time to get back in. And then you click on Process. Once you've been certified for a number of years, you'll see all your past applications there. So you'll click Process on the one that's currently in process. Now, this is what the actual application looks like. We don't have a paper application because it looks different for everyone based on your legal structure, how many employees you have. So it's kind of has a little bit of logic built in. It's a smart application. But all these red arrows are all the different sections of the application, and it'll tell you what percentage you have done, how many questions you have left. Now, this is very important. You have 90 days from the time that you start the application to the time that it gets deleted. If you do not finish it within 90 days, it will automatically get deleted. You will get a lot of emails, but if you, let's say you're like, oh my gosh, I know it's getting deleted in 2 weeks. Now, I can extend that, right? I can extend that. Please email me, give me enough advance notice, right? Don't email me. If you get an email that says it will be deleted on Saturday, don't email me Friday night. I will not see it. Once it is deleted, it is gone. There is nothing I can do. So please don't email me after you get that email that says your application has been deleted. Do not wait until then. There is nothing I can do. Now, as I said, please email me a month ahead of time. If you know, oh, Christmas is coming. I just don't think I'm going to get to it in December. I know my deadline date is January 1st. I will happily extend it another 30 days for you. But just keep that 90-day deadline in mind. All right, so let's talk about these documents and getting into that, the question about if you're brand new. Just like the application, the documents you need to send us are going to be a bit different based on what business you have and your business structure. So we're going to ask for your articles of incorporation and your governing documents. Whatever that looks like for you as a business owner, we will ask for that. Your proof of gender, citizenship, whether that's your passport, driver's license, if you, we will accept any gender affirming government issued documentation. We know that there's still a lot of barriers to that in this country. So any state that has issued a gender affirming driver's license or reissued birth certificate, anything like that. 3 years of tax returns. I will get to that in a second because I know a lot of you guys are new. Balance sheet, profit loss statement, bank signature card. We want to know who has signing authority on your bank account. There's a lot of things on here. If you do not know what something means, we will happily answer questions. Shoot me an email. Hey, Colleen, I know you said something on here about profit loss statement. What is that? Can you tell me again? Or ask your score mentor. And personnel, if you have staff, we will ask for W-2s, list of employees, payroll. Again, recertification, not this arduous. It is your first year. So if you are a brand new business owner, we know you may not have some of these documents. Keep in mind the high level stuff still applies. Your proof of citizenship, gender, legal structure, whatever documents according to your legal structure to show that you are a launched business. Contribution of capital, that's an FAQ we get. No matter how small, if you put in sweat equity and $100 from your bank account, send us, a statement, sign it. That is totally fine. If you bought your business or you got an investment or something, that would be contribution of capital as well. Whatever it is, just tell us. 3 years of tax returns. For any years you do not have a business tax return, send us your personal tax return. The first 2 pages, we do not need your, HSA, independence and stuff like that. You can redact your social security number, that's fine, but we will need your personal returns, the first 2 pages, the actual return, plus any Schedule Cs. Schedule C is for your business. So we will need 3 years of that. Balance sheet, profit loss statement. I don't care how short and sweet they are and covered in zeros. They do not need to be fancy from QuickBooks. Send us the short and sweet Microsoft Excel documents. That's totally fine. A lot of other things as a new business owner may not apply to you. Payroll, if you're not paying yourself or anyone yet. Lease, if you work out of your home. For the first year at least, my good tip for you is just upload a Word document that says, I work out of my home, or I am not paying myself yet. And what that does is just helps your reviewing officer just get through it a little bit quicker so they don't have to ask. You can check NA, but it helps us if you upload that Word document that says, I work out of my home. Like, oh, okay, cool. Moving right along. If you ever have any other questions about documents, always feel free to email us. So why do we ask for so much stuff? Again, we are not a pay-for-play. Every document we ask for verifies that a woman is truly running her business. So, leases and loans, who's signing on behalf of your business, your resume. Give us a full resume, not just a little blurb about you, for you and all owners and directors in your business. We want to know who has the expertise, who's been doing any title swapperoos right before applying. Everything we ask for your tax returns, you legally have to report your ownership percentage every year to the IRS. So everything we ask for is for a reason. So I want to kind of I know I'm getting towards the end of the hour, so I want to wrap up with some tips that I have for a quick and easy certification process. 1, create your profile in WeBank Link using the woman owner's name, especially if you have someone helping you out. It's your certificate. 2, please make sure you remember the public information that you put into your application goes into the directory. So spell your name correctly, use upper and lowercase letters, make sure that you put in your correct phone number, your correct email address, just proof everything. Submit as many documents as possible in your application. If you say, I know Colleen said to send in a resume, but I haven't written a resume in 10 years, I'm going to ask you for the resume. Just help yourself get through the process a little faster by just sending it all together. We talked about number 4 about a half an hour ago. Take a look at your operating agreement or bylaws and look for those unanimous consent and highest title clauses, because you will be denied if they do not meet criteria. I hate to say it and I hate to do it, but I see it happen. If you have someone else helping you with the application, do not submit it until you reviewed everything for accuracy. Put those ownership percentages exactly as is. If you have a funky breakdown where you own like 52.967, put exactly that. Do not round it up to 53, because we will raise some red flags if you see it doesn't match exactly to your taxes and stocks if you have them. Pay the processing fee by credit card rather than check. We just know, it helps you get a little bit faster. Whitelist this email, webanklink@webanklink.org. This is the email that all notifications from the system will come from, and it often goes to spam. But any questions from your officer, the notification of, hey, you have 2 weeks left until your 90 days is over. Yay, you've been approved, will all come from this. Send your Q&As in a timely manner, get everything together, send it in. Don't wait for 3 weeks, because that's 3 more weeks onto your timeline. Be flexible with your site visit, obviously. And just remember, the whole process takes about 3 to 4 months the first time. So, just send it in early if you know you're going to need it for a contract or a bid. We are here to help you. We have a fantastic team. We can answer any questions. A lot of people say, do I need a certification consultant? Ask us your questions first. If you really need more hand-holding, we can't walk you through the application because we have to be independent reviewers, but we can clarify and answer any questions. And if you really do need that hand-holding, we can refer you to a consultant or to your SCORE mentor. So what comes next? As you leave this program, think about who your target clients are. If you are looking to work with procurement departments, corporations, government agencies, do your research into your target clients. Decide if you're ready for certification, if you're brand new, because I know a lot of you guys are, and then start getting your documents in order. Really get yourself organized. Once you're certified, you got to work it. It's like I said, when you get a college degree, it's a piece of paper. Job offers aren't going to start landing in your lap, but it really can help you to build your business if you lean into it. It is a fantastic tool in your tool belt. It is an amazing network, and we are here to support you with any questions. So I will hang out for a while for any questions. I thank you guys so much for joining me. We do have this program recorded, and I will follow up afterwards with the recording and with a whole bunch of links of how to get started and all my resources. So thank you again.
Colleen, we do have a couple of questions, 2 in
Yes.
the Q&A box and 1 in chat.
Okay, I'll start with the Q&As. I'm a fine artist, one woman operation. Should I apply? It entirely depends on your business goals. I'm going back to my questions here for you. Are you looking to work? Wrong way. Are you looking to work with, procurement departments? Are you looking to work with, I know many artists who have their certification because they have done murals for airports, or they have done, entryway pieces for hospitals. It really depends on who you're looking to work with. Let's see, is personal or business credit a factor? No, we do not ask for your credit score. Looking in the chat box, if you aren't registered as an LLC or sole proprietor, but use your social security number, your taxes, can you still apply? I think it depends on how you are set up. If you're a sole proprietor and you are filing your business on your on your taxes, then yes, you can still apply. If you are, depending on how you've set up, it really depends on your structure. But yes, as long as you are lodged, and we have many sole proprietors who are certified. Let's see. Going through here. Is there a checklist of needed info to gather before I file for certification? Yeah, so that is something, that checklist of documentation. When Maria follows up with all of the additional information and links, there is a checklist there. Just keep in mind that checklist is very comprehensive. It includes everything in there. So there may be some things that don't apply to your business, and that's okay. So if you have no payroll, no employees, it's just a kind of a good practice. Just upload a Word document that says, I have no employees yet. And it just helps us get through that review a little bit faster. And also, if you do miss something on there, we're not going to deny you. That is what that Q&A, that documentation review step is for. We're going to come back to you with questions. You're going to work with your certification officer and make sure that you have all the right documentation there. But as much as you can get us the first time, when you first apply, it really helps.
Okay, Colleen, I think we need to wrap up, but I don't see any other lingering questions. I want to thank everybody for hanging in with us. We went a couple of minutes over, but you could see why. There's so much to know and to learn. Colleen, thanks. You gave us a lot to think about, many important details. And just remember, you will be getting a copy of this slide deck as well as the recording with all that information, including the slide that it shows Colleen's team that she works with and all of their email addresses. So if you have some questions, you can get right back to them. Just remember that SCORE is also able to help you. If you don't have a mentor you're working with today, please consider setting up a session. You can do it right online. It's an easy, simple, step-by-step process to do that. We can go to the last slide now. If you have any questions on how to get that mentor or select a mentor, don't hesitate to get in touch with Catherine at the second bullet here. That's her phone number and her email address. She can help you walk through the mentoring scheduling process if you have a question with that. For those of you who are willing to hang in for one more minute or so, I'll throw a poll up just to help us with learning about what you thought of today and also getting your ideas on what else you'd like to learn. But I do appreciate that you may have something you need to run off to. And we really thank you for attending. And we thank Colleen for all this amazing information. It's a lot. All right. We'll just hang in here for a few extra minutes for anyone who might be willing to share feedback in our poll. And I will end this recording.